Hello everyone, welcome back. After finally completing the first match, we are here ready to start the second. Going to have HellRaisers once again versus Penta. First map is going to be Mirage, actually, and I'll get the other two maps for you as soon as I can. But we have to announce the winner of Bag of Swag number 2. And it is Clown Killer 79.
Another good name.
Clown Killer 79. Reminds me of Twisted Metal, actually.
Yeah.
Ever played that game?
Yeah.
Guy drives the ice truck. I love that game. Twisted Metal Black was like my favorite Twisted Metal. But anyway, Clown Killer 79, congratulations, you have won a Bag of Swag. I actually haven't had time to look at the inventory and figure out what we've given away already and what we're going to do for you. So send us the relevant info and I will sort it out later on. And I suppose I'll put a tweet up to show people what we have sent you. But at the very least, you'll get an AWP Pit Viper. So looking forward to that. You can see the odds here for the current match. You can see HellRaisers are a favourite now.
That's switched a lot. It was 50-50 when I looked at about 12 o'clock this afternoon. And yeah, definitely switched.
Interestingly, I was wondering, I think that if I wonder how the odds would have been for this match if this match had closed at the same time as the first match.
Yeah.
I feel like people saw map 1, saw HellRaisers and they were like, whoa guys.
Hello.
Hold on a second. Let's get our skins in, let's change our bets. So again, HellRaisers versus Penta. Penta, a team that we're starting to see in the upper echelons of Counter-Strike. They're starting to just poke into these kind of matches again and again and again, becoming more of a household name here in Counter-Strike. So I'm quite curious to see what they are going to offer us today. We should be going live very, very shortly, I think, with the knife. Are you very familiar with Penta? Or?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, again, although I've been around CS for a couple of months now, you know, around a year in total, I'm still relatively new in some respects, especially in consideration to yourself, who's been around for, did you say 12 years or something like that? You've been
playing, but not like competitively. I've just been playing Aztec with Deagle only and stuff like that. So, you know,
but still, even in that respect, I'm still a newbie too. No, but I obviously have seen them. I am aware of the squad, and there are a couple of standout players there. For me, one of them has to be kRYSTAL. I want to see what kRYSTAL can do. He's going to be the initial person for me, in my opinion, to look out for there. But you know, it's good in some respects to have a couple of players that you may not be slightly aware of, because then they can surprise you, and you can start to see what work they can do, and kind of cast that through to the audience who may be learning it for the first time themselves, I guess, really.
Absolutely. It's always good to have a learning element within a match, so you can discover things along with the audience and communicate your opinion of them and see how it may differ with the audience. So again, if you agree or even disagree, especially disagree with something that we may say or our opinion on things, then definitely send us a tweet. Give us your views, be it players or chest hair. It's all good in the hood. People have in fact been tweeting Chewwy pictures of their own chest hair. And I mean, great. Just don't tweet me, please.
It's support for the chest hair. Yeah. People are giving me moral support.
I can't say I'm a particularly hairy man. My best mate has hairy toes.
That's weird.
Which is
I don't even have that.
It is kind of weird. It's kind of freaky, but you know, I forgive him for it.
Who even won the knife? I was so busy thinking about chest hair that I didn't even pay attention.
I can only assume it's HellRaisers, as they are starting on the CT side. Would be crazy to start on the T side. Although I'm pretty sure Ninjas in Pyjamas they chose to start on the T side once. I can't remember if it was Nuke or Inferno. I think it was, I want to say Inferno. And I remember it didn't work out very well.
I remember when I first started casting, and I think it was NIP, and they chose to go CT side on Dust 2, and this was before Dust 2 really started to kind of, I wouldn't say it's completely switched, but you are seeing teams more and more often now choosing to go the CT side.
Absolutely,
on Dust 2. And I remember the first time NIP ever did it, and the chat just erupted.
Indeed, the dynamic has certainly changed in that respect on Dust 2. I think it can vary depending on the styles of the individual teams, but how the styles of the two teams match up as well, and their the history between the two teams playing the map. So, but it's nice that Dust 2, after so much time, still has that kind of dynamic changing. So, good to see the flow there. You can see we're about to get into the match now. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. I'm excited. Are you excited, Chewwy?
I am indeed. Let's get going. We are live with a pistol round. This is, of course, HellRaisers going up against Penta. HellRaisers with the odds in their favour. They didn't have the odds in their favour earlier on against Virtus Pro, but they still managed to take the series. Unfortunately, it wasn't exactly the fairest series ever due to a couple of connection issues, but we are live, ready to go. Brand new best of 3, brand new game. We're back on Mirage, though, and let's see if HellRaisers can take another convincing victory on this map.
these like some of the most common smokes in Counter-Strike these days. These standard setup smokes on the A site to kind of kill the CT aggression here and push them out of the site. But HellRaisers definitely playing for the retake here. You can see how passive they're playing. Look at AdreN just pushing all the way back in CT spawn area. Doesn't want to get flashed and pushed by Ts or even naded. So still, if you look at HellRaisers all the way over there, they're still just slowly but surely rotating. Bomb going to be planted deep towards CT, and the HellRaisers just going to chill out and wait for the rest of their teammates to come in. Look how passive AdreN's playing. Angel in the connector area, going to throw a flash, which should try and flash everybody in the site, save for his teammate in the CT area. So let's see how this goes.
In comes the push from the CTs, and AdreN from CT spawn is going to be able to pick up the first one there onto Struggle. Not the first one, actually. There's 2 players there for the T side. Make that 3, as it's all going to be left up to Next and to kRYSTAL as well, but the defuse is coming in, and the Ts aren't even there to defend it. So the counter-terrorists of HellRaisers will pick up the first round there. In comes the frags after the round has finished. And what happened there to Penta? Because we saw that they had full control of the A-bomb site. HellRaisers knew what they were doing by taking things slowly, and they managed to get the defuse.
Problem for Penta was, again, it was a situation where they had nobody to engage, they had nobody to shoot. So HellRaisers, one player, I think it might have been kucher, got shot to like 2 HP fairly early on post-plant. But aside from that, they had pretty much a full team to retake the site with. Full team, full nades. They didn't go crazy trying to stop Ts from inevitably pushing the site. Excuse me. So, again, things... They were afforded themselves a much stronger retake than they otherwise may have needed to. Eventually forced the Ts back to A slope, put a smoke in the middle of the site, and just defused the bomb pretty much. I mean, I doubt Penta had any idea it was being defused at the time.
No, they probably didn't. Probably was a shock indeed, but the shock wasn't in round number 2 as HellRaisers, as you would expect, were able to take it clean sweep indeed. Now, because Penta were able to plant the bomb in the first round, they are going to be able to have an early buy here. So in comes the rifles, 4 AK-47s and a Kirill to be precise here for Penta. And let's see where they go. They're going to try and get some presence over towards mid, but nobody from HellRaisers is, as they stack the B-bomb site.
Yeah, this is perfectly fine for HellRaisers. They are probably expecting the buy here, and quite often you find people just abandon mid rather than kind of trade for frags there. They'll concentrate. They will concentrate on trying to hold connector. Again, you can't plant the bomb in mid, so this is an option for the CT side. However, flamie eventually going to bring things into an even peg as kucher went down fairly early. Another advantage for Penta. And they're starting to do considerable damage to the CT side here. Only 2 players remaining. They do have an AWP as well, versus 4. Angel's going to be, I was going to say, is going to be important here because a few of the Penta players were fairly low, and they could have got some damage in. But they pretty much got cleaned out by 4 surviving players of Penta there. So after a solid 2 rounds, after winning the pistol, getting an extra round, Penta go for the buy after getting a plant and just pretty much wreck shop.
I'm not too sure who it was in connector there for the CTs. I think it may have been Dosia, but do you think, because 2 players, I believe, or at least 1, had the MP9, so I'm just wondering if, because they had the MP9 and they knew that Penta were going to do that buy on the 3rd round, whether they should have switched out and got some more powerful rifles in hand.
Absolutely. You don't want an MP9 versus an armoured player with an AK-47. That just doesn't make good sense. HellRaisers managing to buy once again. Dosia still with an AWP, but he doesn't have any armor, which is probably why he's rolling with the AWP rather than kucher. So he only needs 1 shot to find a kill here. Kucher, though, with that M4, going to take down Denis first. kRYSTAL still with an AWP, so there's an AWP on both sides. Got stat track Karen bits all over the place in this match.
Looks nice, it does indeed, but Dosia is going to respond. They're onto Spiidi after Angel goes down, so that's going to make things into a 4-on-3 situation. And unfortunately, hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue, but Denis has actually left again. We'll see if he is going to be able to reconnect soon enough, though. It is just a disconnect, but he is back, so hopefully no issues whatsoever. Still going to be AWP versus AWP, kRYSTAL versus Dosia, and as soon as I say that, I jinx it, as Dosia is going to go down, evening things up into a 3-on-3 situation, and in comes the push on towards the A-bomb side.
Kucher getting 1 frag, trade coming in, time running out, 18 seconds, and Next going to go for the frag rather than the plants. All happened in the blink of an eye there, AdreN getting the final frag, so HellRaisers extend their lead once again to 2 rounds, but looking pretty dire on the financial side.
Yeah, it's really not sitting too pretty for either squad at the second. And have a look at what flamie's resorted back to. We've seen him with it earlier on, and we're seeing it with him again. He's gone for another MP9. Dosia with a Swag 7 in hand. And this isn't looking exactly great here for HellRaisers. And they've got to be careful, because although Penta have got 2 pistols, they've also got 3 AK-47s in hand. So this round really could go either way, especially now with York player and kucher being knocked down to only 5 points of health.
Curious as to flamie's intentions with the MP9, because it is a gun that you can use to rush to, even if you're lucky, opponents at close quarters in the kind of madness. And you can see he's looking to go for a right-click pop flash there, and that could go the right way for him. As the terrorists approach the B bomb site, he may have an element of surprise to play with here, but he is in a difficult situation now where he could get flanked from a 2-pronged assault by these terrors. So things looking quite awkward for flamie. I don't think he's really close enough to do the damage he wants to do with this gun, but there's the surprise. He gets that extra half second, and that's going to give him the frag onto Strugs. He's not going to go to pick up the superior weapon, though, as the push is coming in towards A, so he can't really afford to spend that much time wasted trying to find an AK. He's got Spiidi now with that Mag 7. That was almost a frag, just giving flamie a bit of a haircut there, and that extra distance won't allow flamie again. The extra distance allows flamie to live for a few more seconds, but he has an MP9, so the distance hurts him as well as it hurts the Mag 7.
AdreN deciding to try and back off.
Yeah, but that CZ is back with a vengeance.
It is indeed. What do you think of that? What do you think about it being rebuffed?
I hated the CZ quite strongly and with a fanatic passion. When it was first released. I moaned about it every time I saw it.
I remember.
They eventually nerfed it after the pros started moaning about it with a higher voice as well. It did ruin championships as far as I'm concerned. Now they've kept the bullet data nerf, but have increased the fire rate, and I think it's probably bad again.
Okay, well, interesting. It'll be interesting to see what everybody at home thinks about that as well, but we'll talk about that a bit later on as income to push. Talking about CZ75, flamie picks up 2 there. 2 headshots in quick succession onto Nex and onto Denis as well, but it may not come down to too much, unfortunately. Of course, it is going to hurt the economy here for Penta, but Angel will be the last one left alive in a 1 versus 3. He's got no armor, no rifles at all. He's only got that P250 in hand, so he's just going to look to see if he can catch any T players just moving off that bomb site in the last few seconds. He did find one there, puts a bit of damage into, I believe that may have been kRYSTAL actually, but not too much to come from this, as Spiidi will eventually take him down, evening things up. And as we go into round number 7, 3-3 is the score, all even here, nothing to tear these 2 teams apart.
To go back to complaining about the CZ, I do feel like it was a mistake introducing it into the game. The problem, though, is that the general ethos of game developers is that when they change things, they don't want to take things away. They never want to take things out of a game after introducing them, even if it's the right thing to do. They want to adjust them or kind of try to find balance in them. But it's an automatic firing pistol at the end of the day, and that, I think, for a game like Counter-Strike, is not best suited. I think if it's, you know, if you're talking like, well, never mind other games, but I don't think it has a place in Counter-Strike. But again, because of the game developer ethos, it's pretty much here to stay, especially with the whole economy and CZ and skins and everything. It's never going to go away now, regrettably. I do think it fires too fast now. One thing I think they could do is make it louder when it fires. So it's more obvious, because you saw there were 2 kills on the A bomb site, but it took a while for the opponents to react. I think if it was louder, it would be fairer. So that's one thing they could do to the gun. But we are on a buy round for both teams now. Things being a bit slow for the time being, but with AdreN's aggressive position, things will start to speed up. He's going to get shot straight away by kRYSTAL. See how the CTs react. Holding formation for the time being, but they no longer have control of the CT area of A, which means that it's going to be harder for them to stop this plant from coming in.
Smoke grenades go down. Go down. There we go. Eventually got it out as the bomb is planted. And that's going to mean things still on a 5 versus 4 situation, so a relatively slow round in terms of frags so far.
They're going for the save.
But yeah, I think in all honesty, it's a good decision because having a look at the buy, I mean, Dosia and flamie do not have any head armor, and there's 2 Famouses on the board as well. So yeah, just for that pure reason.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, just one quick frag there from kRYSTAL with Yorp was the difference between a round win and a round loss.
Yeah, the fact that Dosia and flamie are not wearing helmets means that this M4 is now an AK if it meets those 2 players. Yeah. Seen kucher getting... Wow, kucher! Kucher just going huge there and causing humongous damage at the end, which will not be... I mean, that's going to irritate Penta, to say the least. One lovely circle going to be removed. But again, for that retake, we had a smoke here, we had a smoke here. It was like suicide for them to even try and go for that. Yeah. So went for the save instead. Put themselves in fantastic positions as well. So they'll have... they'll be in a good position to do some damage this round. Penta Sports coming into A, looking angry there after 3 people getting taken down by kucher in the previous round. Got control of the site for the most part, but kucher just making a nuisance of himself at the back. Sorry if that was flamie, not kucher.
Yeah.
Kucher went down afterwards, but Penta gonna take that round with a bit of rage. 3 people though going down for them, so they are still gonna have to spend some money. They're not gonna be running away with the cash, but this war of attrition on both sides is going to be expensive for all concerned. kRYSTAL now going for the AWP with a good spawn timing. Not going to find anybody in the window. There is a 4-man stack on the A site with a buy here from the CTs. They line up and they get the frag as well. That could have gone horribly wrong for them. Fortunately, it didn't. kRYSTAL going to take down Dosia in the face through a box. And things may slow down here, although the T's are loitering towards B, and with nobody in mid to stop them, it's going to be down to flamie to try and hold these guys back for as long as possible.
Well, we know what work flamie can do with this M4. We've seen him go pretty large earlier on. He's going to pick up 1, picks up 2. So he's doing some good work so far. Unfortunately, cannot get the 3rd, and that is going to open up the B-bomb site, but only momentarily, as there are 2 CT players rotating through shop here. One's going to go down, though, to the hands of Spiidi, leaving things in a 2 versus 2 situation. It looks like the CTs are going to try and attempt this retake, but in comes the incendiary grenades just to try and slow these last 2 CT players, Angel and AdreN, down. Struggs is going to get caught out, not looking in the right direction over towards App. So Spiidi tries to get that grenade in there, but he's going to get caught out. And it looks like the crossfire should come in if they can find various angles on this final player. But it doesn't matter. Angel gets him through the window, and the bomb should be defused.
They've got no kit.
Though, so... let's see, we'll leave it up to Gabe and Gods to see who's going to decide if it's going to be diffused. And it... oh my gosh, that was close.
That was close indeed.
Gabe was on the side of HellRaisers today.
Crucial round. Even with the W there, still quite ropey money here for the CTs. So, we have a good game on our hands, people. It is a 1-round advantage to Penta on the less favoured side here. This is the terrorist side. Again, HellRaisers, a new roster with 2 new players in what is their 3rd match since the roster lineup change. So I think the freedom of the T side should be better for them than the constraints of the CT side. So we'll see how they do when we get there. flamie holding the B site solo once again. Going to allow the CTs to have more people in different areas, but look at this. They've got 3 people in the A bomb site now, and even flamie's going to rotate, but the bomb is going towards B. The flash comes in just in time before he leaves the place, so he's going to have an inkling that something's going on. We'll spot the bomb now. Has got a rotation coming in from kucher, but the flank is a few meters away yet. That said, only next remains now for Penta. Trade frag coming in, and that's going to be a very good cleanup for HellRaisers.
I was going to say, that was almost going in favour of Penta then. It exactly shows how close some of these rounds can be between 2 evenly matched squads. Penta putting some aggression down over towards the A-bomb site, and it looked like HellRaisers were expecting the push there. And just as flamie was about to rotate away, he heard that flashbang come in and decided to come back round onto the B-bomb site, and that was a good decision because it stopped the advancing Penta players to push through. So that is going to force Penta down now on to an eco, which means that HellRaisers should take this one and take the lead in the game. I do believe, not for the first time, but they haven't been in the lead for a while at least, but still it's back and forth trades here in round number 11.
Okay, so Denis is in no man's land in Palace at the moment with no teammates around him, and but he can run some distraction here because it is a 3 versus 3 actually. Looking at the health, all the Penta players are tagged at the moment, so they've got to be careful. But all they need is the jump on a HellRaisers player while they're looking the wrong way. flamie is going for the MP9 again. This guy likes his MP9s on the B-bomb site. He's had limited success, I would say, so far, although he's had better success than when I picked the MP9 up. 50 seconds remaining on the clock. We have Spiidi in a position to try and stop a flank and also offer some additional firepower from the mid area. Bomb is going to go down now as that frag comes in against Penta. But now they have a slight advantage in that the time is on against the CT side. But flamie finally having a bit of fun with that MP9 through a smoke, which will give them an advantage. And with the clock against them, they do have 2 kits. So it may end up with a defuse and Operation Meat Shield. Now they bait the play right. There is the Meat Shield indeed. It's going to be flamie just standing between the T and the bomb. Going to just tap, tap, tap. Doesn't even go to pick up a different gun, or is he?
Oh,
he made it as well.
Just got it. Wow, that was
wow.
Cool.
This timing.
Yeah, well, it seemed to have worked out for him, and he was able to pick up 2 kills in that last round there with that MP9, and he's utilising it relatively well. And so, but into round number 12 we go kucher with that op, and also kRYSTAL as well, as you would expect. And let's see where both of them are going. kRYSTAL's going to try and get that initial peek mid, out go the flashbangs just to give him some cover as he peeks out, but he's not going to find anybody. But kRYSTAL will as he actually gets kucher will as he gets kRYSTAL. So the AWP battle going in favour of the CTs there, and he's able to pick up a 2nd kill from it as well. So already 3 players being shut down here on the T side, and the round's only just begun.
Very nice. I like how kucher's using the AWP so far in all these different matches. Rather than going for the initial engagement as if he's simple or someone, he's going for the kind of, like in that position, going for the delayed pick and finding it, and more to boot. Angel can see an elbow there, just waiting for him to emerge, and he's taking his time. He'll have the info to for his teammates. I think he wants to knife him. Indeed he does, and there it is. Some extra cash in the bank. Good decision there. Good that he kept his gun out for an extended period of time as well. He's not going to just stand behind him and walk 10 meters with a knife, guys. So if you do want to knife someone, make sure you don't pull out the knife until you are close. Otherwise, they may turn around at an inopportune moment and shoot you in the face. And then you will look very silly.
You can tell there was some communication going on there between the HellRaisers guys after that, because Angel saw that there was another AWP and picked it up and must have asked the rest of his teammates if they wanted to go for the double AWP setup here on the CT side. But they decided not to, and next with a jumping headshot with the Tech 9 gets 2, and this gun, we talked about the CZ75 earlier on. I'm sure we can have an interesting conversation about the Tech 9 as well, and you can see exactly what damage it can do there. You get 2 entry frags and allows the bomb to be planted on the A bomb site here. HellRaisers will respond, and they should be able to retake this bomb site with relative ease, although Next has picked up an M4. Not anymore, as it goes down and gets dropped. And the last 2 players in towards a ramp. I'm just going to see if they can catch anybody out before the bomb defuse does come in. They keep up to try and find those players. They are going to be able to get one. Denis is down, though. Sorry, Denis is the last one left alive. Even left on 13 HP.
Oh, if Denis could stop him here.
Oh, my gosh.
That could have been a catastrophe, going for the knife there with only his teammate left with 2 HP.
Yeah, I don't quite understand that. It doesn't take an experienced pro to kind of realise that that was a tiny bit dodgy, a tiny bit risky.
Okay, so double AWPs coming out for the HellRaisers team. Let's have a look. We've got kucher going into the A bomb site, and Angel going to be engaging in mid, which they've been neglecting for quite a while. So that's going to take the Penta side by surprise here. Angel getting the 2nd frag as well. HellRaisers showing their proficiency with these AWPs despite not having Simple or Markelov or World Edit on their team. This is very, very nice to see indeed. And I think I feel like people have kind of written off this roster in the short term because they're like, oh, all their AWPers have gone, they can't AWP. But clearly they're showing that, yes, they can AWP.
I was just about to say, their AWPing has been, so far, pretty much on point. I've certainly been impressed with it myself. But Spiidi's just going to knock down that incendiary grenade there with the smoke grenade, of course. Pulls out a Molotov of his own after getting the first kill there onto Angel. Well, actually now it's a 3-on-3 situation. flamie with a good position behind the van here will take out Spiidi. He's not found the bomb though, and all of the rest of the CT players have started to make their way over towards B, and now they've got to backtrack and get their way over towards the A bomb site. AdreN in connector is going to find one, but just behind the other side of that box which he's looking at is where the bomb is going to be planted, trying to get some shots down range, but isn't going to connect with them unfortunately, and now it's going to be left in a 2 versus 3 situation in favour of the CTs.
You can see HellRaisers have a really good spread. 2 people jungle connector just completely clearing out that area, and it's going to be Dosia coming from T-spawn as well. Penta, though, will be the one to get the first frag and the second shot straight to the face of flamie and AdreN. One-man advantage now as Next will engage Dosia and take him out as well. So good individual play there. And that's going to bring it to 8-6, last round of the first half. Let's have a look at the money here. CT's in a position to get some semblance of a buyout. See a Mag 7 coming out for AdreN now. No MP9 for flamie, interestingly.
It's the Tech 9 train.
Indeed. But what if they get flanked during the round from spawn? CT picks up the Tech 9 and just wrecks him with it later when he runs out of bullets with, say, a Mag 7 or a Deagle or something.
That would be devastating. But Spiidi's going to start things off here on to Angel and get the initial entry flag here in the last round of the first half. Of course, guys, this is a best of 3, so if you have put your skins on either of these teams, do not despair. We've at least got one more map coming your way. Unfortunately, I don't quite know what map that is in a minute, but we will get that information to you guys soon enough. Smoking off short, though. Denis going to try and look for some information over to the short. Sorry, he's smoking off connector even. I do apologise. But this has been a really difficult force by coming in here from HellRaisers to finish things off. So with that in mind, you would expect this to be an 8-7 half, but not if AdreN's got anything to do with it.
Don't you hate it when you just get AWP'd in the chest?
Yep.
I certainly do.
Rip.
So, last round of the half. 40 seconds remaining. Kucher still running around with only a Deagle. And still double AWPs for HellRaisers. Although flamie gets taken out, Dosia takes down Next. Bomb is on the floor now. That's all the information that the CTs need. Seem to have an inkling as to where Denis is. And he will soon fall. Half-time, 9-6 in favour of the new HellRaisers lineup. Penta now going to be on the CT side. And with 6 rounds, they are in good stead to have a solid showing on the CT side. So this could be, in fact, an uphill struggle for HellRaisers. We shall have to wait and see how it goes.
We will indeed. Getting straight into it, though, there is no stopping us now, hopefully, as we get underway with the second half of the first map here on Mirage between Penta and HellRaisers. We saw the stats earlier on both of the betting websites, and it was heavily in favour of HellRaisers, which we were led to believe looked like what could be the case after the way that people were starting to see HellRaisers play after that first series. We watched them play against Virtus Pro earlier on, which way they were actually able to win. But back into the game, Next going to be the first man in line to stop them on the CT side here.
Okay, so that 5-7 is instantly going to go for a shot straight into AdreN's face, and AdreN did very well actually to peek the corner and make sure that to clear it basically. So otherwise that could have been a complete catastrophe for his team. Now HellRaisers with a one-man advantage as Dosia gets the next frag. 3 versus 2. 2 CT players coming out of the shop area. Denis has no idea where Dosia is. He's picked up a silenced USP. It's a CT gun being used against them, and only one stands versus 3. Bomb not down yet. And goes down just after the kill, so that's going to be 300 for the bomb planter and not the rest of the team. But they take the round, so it won't matter that much. AK's Galil's coming out. Quite curious to see if they all go for rifles, or if Kucher maybe will save for an AWP as soon as possible. And it seems that could be the case here, as he is just going to roll with the USP forest style.
Let's see what happens if you go into round number 17, though. And that was, I wouldn't say it was exactly a crucial round for HellRaisers to pick up there, but if you can pick up the pistol round on your T side after coming in with a 3-round lead on the CT side, that's only going to help you out. And as we see AdreN get tagged up there with the scout coming in from Strugs, he's actually going to get knocked down to 3 HP himself, but he's still jumping. He does not care. He's going for it, trying to find some information. And you can see now that the CTs know that there's no players over towards A, because by the looks of things, Denis has wrapped his way over towards T spawning. He's going to get punished for it, though, as Angel backtracks and does take him down. But with 1 minute left on the clock, it's still left in a 5 versus 4 situation. AdreN's got to be careful, though. He's very, very low.
As much as I love the scout, I kind of get irritated and upset now when I see these jumping frags. They were fine for a while, but they have definitely gone on for too long.
Have you seen not AdreN from EU, but have you seen AdreN from the US, his video about the jumping hitboxes with the scout? He released on YouTube video on it. It was really interesting. Yeah, I have, but the flankers coming in here from the CTs. kRYSTAL trying at least, but he's going to get taken out by the AK of Dosia. 2 CTs remaining. You can see HellRaisers just trying to be very careful and clear things out. Things could easily change, as we saw in the previous match with Taz top mid on the eco with a 5-7. 20 seconds remaining. flamie has confirmed that the A bomb site is completely empty. Just going to be Next. If he gets a frag here on a bomb carrier, it could change everything. Going to tag him, shoot him in the foot.
But Angel will clean things up for HellRaisers. And again, I do think this jumping scout needs to go. And that's going to be my thing to complain about, even more so than Tech-9s or CZs.
So you mentioned the Tech-9 there, and we've not really had too much of a discussion about it. We've had discussion about other guns, but just very quickly whilst round 18 gets started, what do you think of the Tech-9 in its current state?
A bit too strong.
Yeah.
And I am sure that everyone will agree with me in that regard. But Valve seem to want to collect a certain amount of data before they change things, especially where guns are concerned. And it's an interesting eco push from Penta, which is leaving B empty, but they're slowly going to slide back into it in the name of Nex. In fact, only he is going to be in the vicinity there. As Strugs is around a short area. Nex, can he get the frag here? Almost close, but no cigar. AdreN on 11 HP. No follow-up there from Strugs as Dosia will peek out first. That's going to be an empty B bomb site. We're looking at a two-man attempt at a retake here. I think Penta will be happy if they got one frag. There's the one frag. And if they can pick up a gun, which is looking quite unlikely at the moment. Only Spiidi remaining now, 35 HP. He should be gone soon. And there he goes.
4 players once again left alive here for the HellRaisers squad. So now they have got a 12-6 advantage, a 6-round lead, in fact, over the Penta squad here. Looking pretty good, but this is when things could change here. This is an important round for Penta. They've got to start to pick themselves back up and start to move forward as they are on the more favoured side here, although they are 6 rounds down. And once again, we've seen the AWP battle before. We're going to see it again. Kucher versus kRYSTAL, and both of them miss.
Yeah, I think he was probably still moving when he took that shot, because obviously when you see an AWP in your own AWP scope, you're going to want to shoot as fast as possible. And that is a nice angle you can take very quickly if you have a good spawn on either side, either the T side or the CT side. flamie gonna get some damage into Spiidi, but he's gonna survive by the skin of his teeth there. 8 HP on him, so he's quite a lucky boy. 5 on 5 still. Bomb is left in the area between B, apps, and mid. So options open for HellRaisers. Angel gonna get a frag on kRYSTAL from an what you would call an off angle, and take control of CPL for the HellRaisers team. So now they can really have a very interesting push on B. Look at their presence on the radar here. If you look at flamie's position as well, this is not looking good for Penta.
No, they're just shutting them out. They've got full control of the A bomb site once again. Got to wonder, are they already going to go for the save? It looks like they may do, and Dosia is going to hear that. Hear those players backing off and give that information to his team. So the bomb's going to go down, and it really wouldn't surprise me here if HellRaisers went on a bit of a scavenger hunt to see if they could find those last few remaining 3 CT players. And this is just ever so, more and more getting more in favour of HellRaisers. Penta are just slowly being shut out of this. HellRaisers are noticing what they're doing, they're getting used to them as a squad, and they're starting to punish them for their mistakes.
You can see the CT side have no money in the bank. This could be game 1 right here, basically. Oh, Dosia, has he not seen him? Oh, Spiidi, you sneaky boy. He could potentially get 3 frags here. Gets 2, that's going to be worth it. As even if he dies, if you look at the CT money, it's all pretty much the same. And they need to buy together as a team, so it doesn't really matter in that particular situation if he dies. So definitely worth that extra damage there. And again, they're going to be forced to eco here. And that's going to be 14-6 unless it goes wrong for HellRaisers. And from that score, I can't really see Penta coming back in this first game.
No, I agree there. But anything can happen in CSGO. That's why we love it. Anything can happen at any time indeed. We almost saw Virtus Pro with a great comeback against HellRaisers earlier on. Penta going to do so. AdreN's going to be the first person into the lower tunnels though, and actually Spiidi catches him out, misses his shots and gets punished for it. So Spiidi will reward himself with that AK-47 as a reward for his hard work there. And Denis is actually going to find one as well. And the HellRaisers are in a tricky spot now. They're left in a 1 versus 4 situation. What's happened is suddenly out of nowhere, Penta have woken up and go, no, we are not out of this one yet. Dosia knocked down a 6 points of health, will eventually get shut down. And you wouldn't have even really been able to tell that Penta were only using pistols in that round against full rifles because they just thrashed them.
Yeah, it all started to go wrong for HellRaisers in that round with the attempted pop flash into underpass. Had a bit too much snap and crackle, and the CT was able to turn away from it and then punish the HellRaisers player for not having his crosshair in the right place straight away. And after that, I mean, again, it was a bit of a turn into a calamity and a catastrophe. And that's an important round for Penta. It's a round they couldn't afford to lose. It's a round they couldn't afford to win either, which is quite amusing. But again, now they can change their destiny if they can get some momentum here. They have an AWP as well on Crystal, so not out of this yet. Look at the angle Chris is holding, so passive there. Just waiting for HellRaisers to try and take complete control, but now the bomb is planted. They cannot afford to wait around. They have to go for it. They must defuse that bomb.
So, next, the man on your screen in connector, and he is going to find one person there, peeking around the corner. AdreN will even things up, though, into a 4-on-4 situation. HG grenade from the CT side will do a bit of damage, not quite enough, though, before Denis comes in and racks up 2 kills himself with that M4A1. It's all going to be left in the hands of Dosia, 1 versus 3. He finds one in a lovely angle there on short, but unfortunately it will not be enough, and the defuse comes in as well, securing the 8th round here for the German squad of Penta. And they're slowly but surely taking this one round at a time and starting to come back into this. And that's really the mindset of a professional team. When you look at the score and you realise how far down you are, you've just got to take it one round at a time.
All I could think about at the end of that round was the fact that Dosia died next to a broom.
Really?
Yeah, on short. It was just all I could see was just a giant broom.
That's the best post-round analysis that you could come up with.
You're welcome. See you at the next major.
This is what you pay for, guys.
Oh yeah. So standard setup here for Penta. 3 people on the A bomb site, 2 people in B, nobody in mid, control of connector. Mid is indeed smoked off, but they weren't looking there anyway, so that will be a bit of a smoke wasted for a time. But Crystal fishing around with that AWP, may have gone for a peek were it not for that smoke. And again, there are some small details in the map which do change things, like that little wooden table support in CPL which allows someone to stand on it and have bit of a peek into underpass to see if somebody's looking up at the CTs, but won't be relevant for a while as nobody is in CPL at the moment. In fact, Crystal's got a very, very passive position, and HellRaisers going to boost on top of that. They used to do that with Simple as well, which was quite interesting, but doing it with the AKs now. That is going to give them the opening kill, but things going to go back in the favour of Penta as they're going to retain control of the B-bomb site, only with one person, and not going to rotate anyone based on that kill. Again, Crystal just holding angles you don't really expect someone to hold. He's just been looking at CPL pretty much all match, while the rest of his teammates clean up.
Well, he's not really even been needed too much at the second, but having that said, AdreN's going to pick up 2 kills there, and it will be left up to Crystal. And next, 9 seconds left on the clock. The bomb is not going to get planted by the looks of things. He's just got to try and back away, but Crystal will finish him off eventually with the USP, actually, of all guns. Penta not out of this yet. Let's have a look at the money for the T side of HellRaisers. It's starting to get weaker and weaker, and yeah, I agree with their decision. They're going to go for an eco.
Yeah, they've got a few rounds yet to play with. So Tech9 are going to come out. They've got a boatload of flashbangs there. They've gone to the flashbang jumble sale and just left with all the stock. That's going to be a smoke either to CPL or onto short. And tons of flashes coming out. Those flashes, though, you have to throw quite late with people emerging onto the site. Otherwise, not as useful as they might be. Frags going in favour of the Penta side. They've lost 2 players, though. And this is starting to look a bit dangerous for them. They take out the bomb and the remaining player, so quickly put a stop to that risk. But you definitely don't want to have 3 players versus an ecoing side. AWP coming out for HellRaisers now, back on kucher. We'll see if he can best Crystal or if he chooses to engage in another area of the map. He does have a spawn for mid, but is going to run on back and go towards A instead, so... Funny enough, that's where Crystal is, so they may still meet each other. Meeting of the minds. See who comes out first.
Let's have a look and see how aggressive these CTs have pushed up. Oh wow, Denis is going to get spotted there, and the T players are going to know how advanced they are up mid, so they're going to back away. Both sides actually backing away from that, and that was definitely different from Penta there, and I like it. Even though they've started to get the rounds back coming towards in their favour, they're only 3 rounds behind now, in fact. They're still changing up their game. They're still doing something different. And have a look at the T's playing at the second. It's actually going to be Kucher and Angel, who are just staying at the bottom of mid over there towards B apps kind of area. And they're just not pushing up aggressively. They're just waiting to see if the CTs do push up any further. They've decided not to, though, and they've backed away. So now they're going to try and look for some more information. And Angel, the man on your screen, will smoke out CBL once again. And Just try and look for some more information over towards mid.
So you can see HellRaisers finally emerged into mid with a bunch of flashbangs, and with that smoke they are going to abandon mid completely. So we'll have to see where AdreN goes. You can see on your radar, oh, he is going into T-spawn as well. So it looks like it's going to be a 5-man assault of the site through A, Slope and Palace with nobody looking towards connector. 23 seconds remaining on the clock here. This is going to be a blaze of glory for one of these teams as the push starts now from HellRaisers.
Angel gets one, Angel gets two. Lovely headshots coming in from that man to start things off. He's going to get eventually taken down there by Scruggs in a lovely position, but look at the clock. 8 seconds left. They've got to try and get the bomb down, and they've got to do it now. Will they successfully do it? Yes, they will. Denis tries to spam that M4 through the smoke, but it's going to be left in a 4 versus 2 situation. This is another crucial round here for Penta to pick up. They try to get their initial aggressive tactics to work for them, but it's not paid off in the end. 4 players left alive here for HellRaisers. Angel the only casualty. And that means now that they are only 2 rounds away from taking it here on Mirage.
Okay. So let's see what buy comes out here for the CTs. kRYSTAL with 6,300 in the bank is indeed going to go for the AWP. The big green gun, the AWP, not the AVP, it's an English gun, it's a W. My friends, Spiidi with a 5.7. kRYSTAL with no helmets, but versus 4 AKs and an AWP. Helmet was not going to be needed anyway. Have HellRaisers starting to emerge into the site, and again passive play on the CT side from Penta as they try and desperately stop them from pushing. They're just going to be sliding downstairs in connector and just dying all over the place. Only Neck and kRYSTAL surviving now, but how long will they survive for? Nobody down for HellRaisers. I think the hunt is on.
The hunt is on indeed. Kucher with the P250 in hand. Obviously he's got that AWP as well as he just pulls that out. Going to be the first man hunting down, but in comes Dosia over towards CT Spur. Going to be making a lot of noise, and kRYSTAL's going to punish him for it, actually, as he does go down. He's going to be able to get the second. No, he will not. Angel eventually finishes him off. And next down, and actually a really nice position. I'm not too sure if they'll be able to find him here. Just trying to see if he can hide it out and move away from those last 4 players. But
it's actually quite a sneaky position because
yeah,
he's on top of the actual ladder, so they can't even see his silencer there. It's a very sneaky position, and you have to specifically check for it. Otherwise, you won't see it in your peripheral vision, and you will just get shot in the head.
It's pretty crucial for him there to save that M4. Unfortunately for Penta, they've really not got too much money in the bank whatsoever. They're going to try and get what they can, but HellRaisers are on map point, not match point. This is a best of 3, as we've already pointed out, and this is only map number 1. So let's see what happens as we go into round number 26. Who's going to win the AWP battle? It will be Kucher, starting things off well here for the T side, and that's the opening entry frag that they wanted to try and convert this 26th round into the map win.
Interestingly, kRYSTAL only has a 5.7 here, but I think he's going to go and try and pick up any gun that was dropped in the CPO area. Indeed, he is. It's going to be a scout. Poor man's AWP. See what he can do with it, as his team are on the ropes right now, and they're getting slugged in the belly by HellRaisers. But how long can they stand for? That is the question. Minute on the clock, so lots of time for HellRaisers to play with. Angel will fall down, just stopping the flank there in the B area. AdreN going to go and see what's up, as it's going to be Denis rotating back into the A site after getting that frag. That's a large swathe of the map which has been cleared by Penta, and you can see because of that we're going to see a rotation from kRYSTAL towards the B area, while Denis is going to, he's been shot through, I think, short maybe as well. So he's got 5 HP, and he is going to be rolling with, well, sorry, he's going to be hiding, in fact, on the A site. And in fact, HellRaisers are going to start rotating. You see, it's a psychology thing here. Now they know that they're not going to A, they have to go A, because they're expecting the CT stack on the B bomb sites. In fact, it's going to be a 2-0-2 setup. But again, Denis, only 5 HP, going to get shot in the face straight away. And now with a long rotation from the B bomb site from 2 of the 3 CT players, things looking pretty bad. kRYSTAL trying to save the site with only a scout. Gets a tag, not the frag. 3 HellRaisers players, though, quite low right now. Even all 4 of them, this retake is suddenly entirely doable for the CT side.
There was hardly any time left on the clock as well, so they needed to get that bomb down. They have no time to play with, and it's actually going to be left in a 1 versus 1. Scout versus AK. Oh, kRYSTAL with a lovely shot there to take it. Has he got enough time? He's got to try and find a kit. And I think he does have enough time indeed. He will pick up the kit and get the defuse as well. So Penta not out of it yet. And Dosia puts in the chat, what? And I think that was exactly our reaction as well. Lovely shot in there from kRYSTAL coming over towards the connector area to secure the round. They're not out of this one yet. They're fighting hard.
Dosia got popped like a cherry right there, and I think kRYSTAL was looking to upgrade his scout into an AWP there, like when all the Power Rangers come together and make a Megazord. So 15-11 now. Penta trying to stay in this. Another buy coming out for HellRaisers, so the pressure is on. You can see an aggressive push up mid. Kucher misses a shot, has help from Angel, but it's not going to amount to much. One frag for both teams now, as Next tries to get the advantage on Kucher, but Kucher going to take down kRYSTAL as well. This could all fall apart in mid for Penta, 3 versus 3. And look how much time is on the clock for HellRaisers. Things were going to be advantage HellRaisers, but all of a sudden they have a one-man disadvantage. Make that 2 as Dosia falls as well.
HellRaisers starting to try and bring it back so they can win this first map, but they're falling at the last hurdle by the looks of things. AdreN's going to try and go for it here. 2 players are low, Next on 46 HP and Spiidi on 22, but after firing that AK-47, he's going to smoke off jungle, and he's just going to back away from that. Still got 55 seconds left on the clock, so it'll be interesting to see if he does try and attempt to plant that bomb, or whether he is just going to save. All of the attention for the CT side is going to be over towards A, but as soon as I say that, Strug's making his way through underpass at the second to make his way over towards B, and I have a feeling that AdreN's not even going to attempt to try and make his way over to the B bomb site. He's just going to try and save that AK-47. He's making his way out towards mid at the second, and there's actually nobody looking in mid for the CT side at the second, so let's see where he ends up.
Looking at the B bomb site very quickly, you can see that it has been completely left alone, but they do have a peek from onto short from Next in the connector area. Next does fall, but the trade frag comes in immediately for Penta, and I'm quite curious to see the money on the HellRaisers side here. They're starting to lose a bunch of rounds in a row. They could force buy here with Galil's, and then Eco, and it would be 15-14 if those rounds both go wrong, and that's indeed what they're going to do here. 4 AKs and a Galil here. They're going to keep up the pressure on Penta, and so they should. Let's look at the money on Penta. It is terrible here. So even if HellRaisers keep losing rounds, if they can keep doing damage, then we may see the CTs end up with FAMASs in a key round.
So she's going to entry frag up there onto Denis. He's going to get knocked down to 9 HP, but that's some good information gathered here for the T side. kRYSTAL's going to respond though straight away, and AdreN's actually been able to make himself known on the A bomb site. Spiidi responds with 2 though. Spiidi responds with 3 even, and shuts them down. HellRaisers in a crucial round for them get completely knocked out for the count. And Dosia now nowhere near the bomb site even, and left on only 9 points of health. He's going to try and challenge over towards mid. He is going to get spotted, he is going to get found out, and he is going to get hunted down here. And Penta are putting up a strong fight, and maybe, James, you know, knowing that the odds are about 50-50 earlier on this afternoon, maybe those odds should have stayed at that level with how close this first map has been.
If this ends up in overtime, it is MR3 16K SLTV do it YOLO style, baby. All the money, all the cash. Now, HellRaisers on that eco that we mentioned before, going to have Tech 9s, P250s coming out, smokes, flashbangs.
We saw them almost pull this off last time. Last time they tried to rush B with pistols, they almost did it. It was only thanks to Next, who got a crazy 3K suddenly just on the edge of the B bomb site, that stopped them doing it. So let's see if he can do the same. And there's 2. He's going to get the 3rd. No, he won't. Eventually, the Tech 9 shuts him down. But kRYSTAL with the USP will stop that, in fact. And the incendiary grenades just stops the push altogether, forcing the T side to move completely away from the B apps area. So unfortunately for HellRaisers, the attempted aggressive push didn't quite work out for them there, and Penta are looking so strong.
Yeah, you can see HellRaisers were walking through the apps. I think the idea behind that was they just wanted to walk as far as they could before seeing a CT. Both teams getting vision of each other is also known as contact, which is when all the guns start blazing, the CTs start firing, the HellRaisers team start trying to run into the site. However, Next had other ideas. You could see him lining up a pop flash by looking at the ceiling there. That's a right-click pop flash. So it just emerges with little time for the Ts to turn away. Did flash a bunch of them, got some nice frags, and put a stop to this round. Angel is going to be the only one remaining, and all he can do there is try and get some damage in, but AK versus a P250 and no armor, not going to go his way on that occasion. Now, this is the last round here for HellRaisers. They have to win this round, otherwise we are looking at overtime.
We are indeed. Certainly a close game, certainly a close series. We do hope you are enjoying all of the action at home. We certainly are here from the Face It Studios. Unfortunately, the first game of the day was hindered with connection issues, but so far, I'm enjoying this one. It's certainly been good. It's nice to see Mirage played out to the full 30 rounds. In comes the potential pusher. They're putting a lot of grenades down, and Spiidi's going to open things up onto flamie there to get the entry frag, and that's a huge player to take down and start things off. I know flamie was top fragging for the T's earlier on, not too sure if he is now, but the incendiary grenade goes down just to try and slow them as well, and HellRaisers are just getting caught completely unawares. They've got to back off once again, and they've wasted all of their grenades.
Look at that.
Wow. That's a lot of smokes.
It's almost like, actually, never mind. That would be inappropriate. Well, that bomb site looks like a complete mess to try and take or retake. Fortunately for the CTs, it was they who were in control. Still 3 men over there as we see AdreN loitering around the palace area. Bomb is in T-spawn at the moment, seems to be rotating back towards A. Little do they know that there's a trio of CTs waiting for them. As soon as I say that, kRYSTAL is rotating the AWP over to the B bomb site for additional firepower. In fact, we have almost 4 people going towards B. Spiidi placing himself for a quicker rotation. And we are going to see that 2-pronged assault we've spoken about towards the A bomb site. Kucher taking down Strugs as the HellRaisers team start to emerge on A. This could be the match here.
Oh, Spiidi with a 3k already in this round. He's been absolutely huge so far. He's been essential. The bomb is going to go down just about, but will Dosia find this player coming from CT spawn? kRYSTAL's going to be that man with the AWP in hand. Fires the shot, misses it, and he won't get punished actually because Nex is there, but it's Kucher left in a 1 versus 2. Can he get the 1 versus 3 clutch to secure the round? That's a huge HE grenade coming in, but the defuse is already going down. He's not going to be able to get it, and will they have enough time to defuse? Yes, they will indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, in map number 1, somehow Penta bring it back after being what I believe was 13-6 down, and we're going to overtime.
It's time for overtime. So you can see there from the server admin, it is MR3 16k. So I don't think we're going to see any force buys in this overtime. This is going to be brutal. All guns blazing for both teams here. Just taking a quick moment before we continue. You can see Denis is indeed ready to continue the match, as are the HellRaisers. So going to get straight back into it. I can see HellRaisers will continue on the T side, Penta on the CT side. And this is, being MR3, probably unfavorable for the HellRaisers. As we saw an overpass earlier on in the last 7 days, this could be a situation where Penta have a very strong CT side, then have a psychological advantage, only needing 1 round on the T side, should they have a clean sheet here in the first half of this overtime.
So do you think the fact that Penta are still, remaining on the CT side, do you think that's really going to play much of a factor coming into this? Do you think that they're going to be able to take it off the back of that, or do you think HellRaisers are going to step up their game?
I think both teams are going to have a stronger CT side than T side, and because of that, I think in MR3 there is an inherent advantage in starting on the CT side on CT heavy maps, where as long as you don't make any mistakes, then you should have a lot more pressure on your opponent as you go into the second half. But Penta not looking good to take round 1 right now, as kRYSTAL and Nex are the only players remaining here. 1 per site versus 4 Ts. This is a less than ideal situation. kRYSTAL with so many angles to look with no one covering his behind. Going to get taken out for free by Kucher. That's going to leave only Nex. He has no choice but to go for it as well, because they've got enough money to go all 3 rounds right now. So very odd situation now for Penta. And again, they lose this round, and this could potentially lose them the match.
Yeah. It's weird because they've been playing so well and they've been picking up their game and slowly but surely coming back into it, taking things around at a time, and then suddenly, as we go into overtime now, HellRaisers deciding to go, we've got some work to do, stepping up their game, getting the entry frag, getting control of the A bomb site, and managing to find that bomb with little to no trouble whatsoever. 3 players left alive in Angel, AdreN, and Dosia, and as we go into the second round of overtime here, of course, because of the amount of money on board, as you've mentioned, Penta will be able to rebuy here with no trouble whatsoever, and it'll be interesting to note, kRYSTAL is going to go for that AWP and investing heavily into grenades as well. So, as we've seen throughout the match so far, kRYSTAL versus Kucher is going to be the name of the game. Let's see if kRYSTAL can find anybody. Flashbang comes in, he takes the shot, but as unfortunately that player not anywhere near him as of yet.
Okay, so let's see who gets the early advantage, if at all, in this round. Again, Penta up against it now after losing the first round on the favoured CT side here in MR3. That nade is going to do a little bit of damage to Dosia, but not a great amount. They're not going to know that there's a CT on the right-hand side of CPL there. So if the T's are still loitering when that smoke dissipates, then he may get a jump on them. It's going to be kRYSTAL, as you can see there. Although now he has to be paranoid about his back because they have shot the window in ladder room, which has alternative names, which are I'm not going to use, that's for sure.
Still a very slow round though. 45 seconds left on the clock and no casualties as of yet. The only player to actually take any damage will be Dosia, which is only 18 points of health, so really not anything too substantial. Spiidi is going to see that there's a player there, and Dosia's actually going to get caught in the open there. That incendiary grenade completely flushes him out. AdreN will respond, but is knocked down to 20 HP, and eventually the revenge kill comes in from kRYSTAL with the AWP headshot there. Back and forth it goes. 3 versus 3. All hell is breaking loose over towards the A-bomb site. flamie with 2. We know exactly how crucial this player can be when he's on form. HellRaisers are looking pretty darn good, but kRYSTAL's going to stop the bomb plant there. That was a crucial shot, and look at the time. 10 seconds left. kRYSTAL with 2. Is he going to be able to pick up more? It's left in a 1 versus 1, but all he's got to do is back away. Angel's got to go for this kill. Back and forth it goes. 2 seconds left. Just, unfortunately, not able to do it for HellRaisers there. He is going to be able to take down kRYSTAL there and pick up his AWP for his troubles, but not quite enough. Penta just holding on.
Indeed. 16-16 now. Last round of OT1. We'll need 2 halves to determine a winner here. So let's see who takes the advantage going into the second half. Kucher with a 0 for the T's. kRYSTAL with a 0 for the CTs. Again, we have the full buy for both teams, as is MR3 16k. So all the tools they need.
Player's going to get caught out, pushing aggressively towards A ramp there, and rightly so. He backs away very, very quickly indeed, because he was found pretty quickly. Didn't die though, but he is going to find some information to know that there are a couple of players stacked over there towards the A ramp section. It looks like that bomb could eventually be heading in towards A. They're setting up for the grenades, so let's see if they are going to be able to successfully push this. Of course, HellRaisers now on what could be their final round on the T side here of Mirage, if they are able to successfully convert this into a win. If they do take this, and they do go into the CT half, in the more favoured in 17-16, it's going to look good for them, but in comes the push. Smoke grenades countering that. In comes the incendiary grenades as well from the CT side, and all hell once again is about to break loose on the A-bomb site. 40 seconds left. No casualties still as of yet though in round number 3.
Okay, smokes all over the place, which will make it difficult for both teams here. Anyone could get the jump on anyone else. 3 versus 3. Make that 3 versus 2. And next is miles away in the B bomb site, but Angel is at a one-man disadvantage. He's engaging the player on short, finds a headshot on Strugs. That means he can plant the bomb, but he needs to grab it first. Gets a second to grab it as Nex is coming in to try and save this round, to try and salvage this round for Penta. He has no idea where Angel is. Angel's in a spot, which makes it very difficult to see anything until maybe it's too late. Next with a Molotov as well. If he throws it into the right place, looks like he's going to throw it into the wrong place. So that gamble's not going to pay off. He's got a lot to clear out. Looks like he is going to clear out the area. And he gets the frag as well. Again, that's the problem with that corner. You can see almost nothing until sometimes it's too late. On that occasion it was. And Penta pull out the last round. Rabbit out of the hat there. 1 round advantage going into the T side.
This is extremely close. This has been a great game so far, and I've got to say, if this first map is an indicator of what the rest of the series could be like, we may be here for quite a while, but it's certainly going to be worth it, because this is some great CS action, exactly what you want to see. So in we go. Of course, the money is reset as we start the second half here of overtime. 4th round it will be indeed out of 6 that we could play. Of course, if things are left even, then we will be going to overtime number 2, but Kucher and Angel, double up setup on the CT side.
Okay, so Kucher is playing in the mid position. As you can see, Angel is also going to be supporting him on short. This is something we saw from that yesterday, I think it was, with World Edit and Simple. And we saw what a treat that went down on certain rounds. kRYSTAL looking for the pick, and an audacious peek in the middle of CPL onto underpass there by Kucher. Very, very cheeky. And kRYSTAL will find him on the second peak, but there's Angel on short to get kRYSTAL out of the game as well. Trade frags of AWPs, not something you see every day. And it's going to be a one-man advantage to HellRaisers now, and that's really important on the CT side. Angel now holding the angle there. Oh, he was so close to shooting Strug straight in the head. Goes for the repeat, gets Spiidi down, takes down Strugs as well. This is massive here for HellRaisers, and this is what I'm talking about. Penta lost 1 round on their CT side, and HellRaisers could entirely clean up after winning that 1T round.
Well, next is going to be the last one left alive. Of course, he's not going to be worrying too much about saving the armory and bank that he's got at the second because of the amount of money that he's got to play with and the rest of the team have got to play with. But again, you know, we pointed it out earlier on, and this is what I'm loving about HellRaisers. You said earlier on, James, that a couple of people had started to kind of write this new roster off because they didn't think that they were going to have much presence with York. But even when Kucher gets shut down with York, Angel picks up a 3K out of absolutely nowhere. And I don't think we've seen him utilise the York very much so far in this series especially. So good work coming in here from the CTs of HellRaisers. Things are all evened up 17-17 as we go into round number 5.
Now, kRYSTAL choosing to pick up the AK as opposed to the AWP. 17-17 now. And again, if HellRaisers make it to 19, that's going to be game 1 in this best of 3. That's a meaty nade going down to hit next. That's a very meaty nade indeed. We're talking slab of lamb right now. See how this push goes for the Penta side. That's a position we can see that Troubley has used to great effect recently, and still undetected on the side. It's going to be Dosia. He could be very, very key when he decides to emerge. He gets 1 frag. Trade coming in straight away from Strugs. Again, a 1-man advantage for the HellRaisers side. Spiidi's position, though, could be very key here. But there is someone holding an angle on that position. That's going to be kucher, and it's 3 versus 1. Penta are in a lot of trouble right now.
They are indeed. Strugs, the last one left alive. He's going to get caught out by flamie there. And Strugs is actually going to get the kill there at the end onto Angel. It's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things too much. But HellRaisers finally on map point here. They need 1 more round to be able to secure it. And Penta need this round to force overtime number 2. Double AWP setup coming in once again here in the hands of HellRaisers on kucher and Angel. And kRYSTAL, after deciding not to utilize an AWP in the last round, he's going to go for 1 hit.
As you can see, I think kucher might have flashed himself in on that occasion. Gets the frag on kRYSTAL, as well as kRYSTAL's forced to repeat at a disadvantage as kucher was ready and waiting. Lots of time on the clock here, so T's still with options. However, they are limited now. kRYSTAL was the man to kind of be the can opener there, but he has been eliminated by kucher now. So it's an early disadvantage for the T's. 2 frags in any position on this map could open things up for the T's, but they need to find those frags. And with 2 AWPs hunting for the remainder of these T's on the map, they are not going to be easy.
No, they are not. Bomb once again in A ramp here, and 53 seconds left on the clock. Penta have still got time to play with, but it looks like they are dedicating their forces over towards the A bomb site. HellRaisers with more of a presence over towards B. But as soon as that's said, next is going to answer onto AdreN. So now it's a 4-on-4. In goes the grenades. In comes the push from the CTs as well. And I believe that's Dosia who's actually on the flank. But somehow Penta have actually moved this in their favour. It's now a 4 versus 3. Are they going to be able to successfully get the bomb down? Not if flamie's got anything to do with it. Through the smoke comes 1, but Strugs is there to save the day. 2 great headshots for him. And Dosia is left in a 1 versus 3. He's going to get caught out here in connector. And ladies and gentlemen, there is still nothing to tear these 2 teams apart. This has been one heck of a first map on Mirage. 18-18 it is as we go into overtime number 2. And let's not forget that this is only map number 1 out of a potential 3.
From the brink of destruction, Penta bring it back. 18-18 here. And here we go again. Now, we had some doubts there in the previous overtime from Penta with the AWPs. This time, they've gone for 2 AWPs themselves. They're only going to be up against the 1 of kucher. So HellRaisers switching things up on the CT side here. And Penta trying to counter their setups. But it's not going to work at all. As kucher takes down Denis straight away. And Angel takes down kRYSTAL. So the 2 AWPs have been annihilated by the HellRaisers side here. And now Nex has gone down to an 8 as well. 2 versus 4 here. Spiidi going to be blown up by the CT side. HellRaisers looking sharp as a butcher's pencil right now. And things not looking great in Penta's first round in the second overtime.
When HellRaisers get aggressive and put some aggression down range and take dominance over the map, there doesn't really seem to be much stopping them. And Penta really haven't got an answer for it when they do that. And HellRaisers, I think, in all honesty, may need to utilise that a tiny bit more. It certainly worked well for them here in the first round of the second overtime. But 19-18, is going to be your score. And we hope you're enjoying the match at home, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly are here from the Face It studios in the UK. Very close games indeed. We saw a great series between HellRaisers and Virtus.pro earlier, which was unfortunately hindered by some connection issues. But so far, this series has certainly been a good one. And as we say, we're only in map number 1.
Okay. HellRaisers 1 up on the CT side. Denis is now opting to AWP. I guess kRYSTAL's... it's been quite a few rounds here. I think kRYSTAL's maybe been tired of looking for a scope, so Denis is going to have a go. Holding a different angle on mid. A bit more passive than the angles we've seen kRYSTAL holding, so that may be the key in changing things up here. Now this is another match we've seen in recent memory where it's gone into double overtime and the CTs have suddenly completely switched up the way they have been playing the map, and you saw that with going from 2 AWPs to 1, and Penta trying to counter and just getting blown up. But the push is coming in here towards the A site as Denis will remain in mid and try to stop flanks here from the CTs. Dosia, though, going to be in a good position to take out Spiidi, and then kRYSTAL as he emerges back from Palace. Penta having to look all over the place as they emerge onto this site. Nade coming to take out AdreN, and now they have a one-man advantage.
They do indeed. It looked very good there for HellRaisers, and suddenly they started to get the frags on the Penta side, but out of nowhere, flamie and Angel appear, and they managed to get them. Denis in a lovely position, though, coming through from connector. If he had managed to land that first shot, that would have been a crazy 1 versus 2 clutch there with the AWPs. HellRaisers have got to respond, though, and Angel picking up the last frag to secure them round number 20. So we are into the last round of the first half here on the second overtime. Pretty much a big mouthful there. Once again, they're going for the double AWP setup. Again, as we would expect with kucher and Angel, and now Spiidi going for the big green gun. So the Penta squad swapping things around at a regular basis now with York.
This is looking quite fun indeed, and you can see Spiidi had a good spawn to try and get a pick on the A bomb site very quickly. That's a common spot where Ts are running towards, CT is running towards the connector area, and reasonably often you can get a fast frag on a CT there, which can allow you to open up the A bomb site very quickly. Unfortunately, there was no connection there for the Ts, and 2 rounds down, they really need to pick up at least 1 round on this T side. We've explained the reasons already. Things looking pretty awesome for HellRaisers right now, but this is still the final final round of the first half. Got there in the end. Nobody dead for either side yet. These 2 AWPs, though. Penta going to have to use a lot of smokes to try and cut them off. One of them is on the B bomb site with flamie, though. Angel and flamie on the B bomb site. Angel with the AWP, but push coming into A now.
Here we go. Dosia going to be the first man to meet up with those CT players, but next is going to find them. AdreN gets the return frag with the incendiary grenade, that looks like, so 4 on 4. Spiidi's going to get another one, though. This man is on fire at certain parts. We can see when he lands his shots, there's almost no stopping him whatsoever. So man advantage in favour of the Ts, but Angel through the smoke gets the headshot onto the bomb planter, and that's going to open things up once again here. Denis and Spiidi respond once again, and this is just back and forth. It is going to be left in the hands of Angel. We know what work he can do here, but the problem is he's just had a Molotov at his feet. They know exactly where he is. The bomb's been planted, and he's up against 2 very angry T players here. This is a crucial round on the T side of Mirage for Penta to pick up. And is Angel going to be able to spot any of them? He's going to get caught out any second now. I have a feeling he's not going to be able to find them. He will not indeed. And that's going to be 20 to 19, I do believe, as we go into the second half of the second overtime here on Mirage.
Indeed, it is. And we will see how things go. Again, HellRaisers is going to be on the uphill struggle here on the T side, but it's going to be Penta with the psychological disadvantage. HellRaisers looking to reach 22 to take this map down finally. 39 rounds we have seen so far. Let's have a look at the kills very quickly. Nex and Angel neck and neck with 35 frags apiece. See if anybody can go for the 40 bomb. As HellRaisers are setting up for the A push, but the smokes may deny them here. Spiidi getting 1 frag. Can he get a second one? Good hold so far here from Penta. And they are looking very, very likely indeed to even things up as the bomb is down. It's 4 versus 2. Dosia and kucher both heavily tagged. Smoked off from the site as well. Not a lot going for them right now.
There's not, and they're both very low indeed. Dosia with only 20 points of health is going to try and peek through that smoke there just to see if he can catch the foot of anybody. But on the flank will be, I believe, that Strugs actually, who's just made his way over towards T-spawn just to see if he can get any of them. It doesn't look like it's really going to matter too much though, as kRYSTAL gets one with the AWP. Kucher will die as well, and that's all things even now. Although the score is 20 to 20, and of course, as James said, the aim of the game is to get to round 22 now at this point. The fact that Penta here are on the more favoured CT side means that they are really technically going to have the advantage things as things are evened up.
Indeed, now it is advantage Penta. So they remain kRYSTAL back on the AWP now. Seems he's possibly happier AWPing on the CT side here for the Penta team, and he's holding that extremely tight angle where unless you have a scope as well, you are not going to see him before you die. If you try and walk through apps now while he has that angle, you're dead. It's guaranteed. Before 12 delivery UPS style.
Once again, it looks like it's going to be another A push, and this is really where we've seen the majority of the action on Mirage in this first map here. Really concentrated forces over towards the bomb site, and it's going to be an absolute cluster of players heading over there as Angel's going to have to respond. That's going to be 2 entry frags there going in for him. flamie's going to get one as well, and suddenly HellRaisers step up their aggression, and it works for them. It's all going to be left up to kRYSTAL and Nex in a 2 versus 5 situation.
Wow, what epic odds. And that was really nicely played by HellRaisers. They ran distraction by throwing the kitchen sink through connector and then jumping from short into CPL to get the flank on one player, shoot the other one through the smoke in a place where he was likely to be after trying to mount defensive on connector. And that's going to give HellRaisers the advantage. And now, Penta make an error. This is game.
Can they finally convert map point? They've been struggling to so far. I dread to think how many chances they've had, but at this final chance now, are they going to be able to convert it, or are Penta once again going to hang on by the skin of their teeth and move things into a third overtime? We will see Denis and kRYSTAL with a double warp setup here on the CT side. Bomb making its way over towards B. And let's see if they play it aggressively or whether they're just going to take things a tiny bit slower.
Look at the desperation on the CT side here. They have put 2 short players into mid to try and contest it, and they will need to, as there's going to be Angel and Dosia. Trade frags coming in, making it 4 versus 4, but HellRaisers are creeping slowly but surely over to the B bomb site. CT's going to be in a compromising position now, unless they can get into shop very quickly, and indeed they may, as we're going to have kRYSTAL and Spiidi emerging out of shop now. So the game is on. Everybody's on the site right now. Let's see who can hold where. It's a one-man advantage to HellRaisers. Lots of shots being put through the smoke. Not sure if Dosia saw the person in the window, and he's holding an angle. Can he get the frag? Oh, he's not seeing him. It's 3 versus 1 now. I think we're going to see the end of this first map. Finally, Spiidi, last man standing, going to get taken out by Dosia, and that, my friends, is game 1 to HellRaisers.
That was a phenomenal first map, I do have to say so myself. 22 to 20 being the first score there on the first map. And I believe at one point, HellRaisers were at least up 12-6. I think they were up more than that as well. They were really starting to put their dominance down, and suddenly Penta decided to wake up and come and show us some good CS action, and that they did indeed. And even in that last round there of the second overtime, things were very, very close, and Penta knocked those last 3 HellRaisers players down to pretty low HP. So very, very close indeed, but HellRaisers, the team with the more favoured odds, secure the first map on Mirage.
I don't know about you, Chewwy, but I'm dehydrated from talking so much. So we're going to take a break, guys, and get some H2O. In the meantime, time for the subscriber knife raffle, guys. The code is going to be !knife. So get subscribed, get your chat on, and all that kind of raffle stuff. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, guys. Clearly, I need some water. See you on the other side.